On the latest episode of Real Time with Bill Maher, he gave his take on the difference between Republicans and Democrats. Take a look.
Politics in this country is binary. You have to wear everything anyone on your side does. Republicans are the party of don't wear masks, kids in cages, lock her up, and Democrats are the party of every hypersensitive social justice warrior woke story in the news.
Get ready for an intense political debate as Bill Maher dives into the clear divide between Republicans and Democrats today. It seems like to stick with your political side, you have to agree with everything they say. On one side, Republicans push slogans like no masks and lock her up. On the other, Democrats are often seen as the defenders of every emotional social justice issue. It sometimes feels like some people get attention just for being, as Donald Trump put it, a flawless 10. And honestly, I wouldn't mind a few of Whoopi's clever jabs aimed at me. She has a way with humor, and when she nails it, it's spot on. Just last week, Joy Behar became the target of Bill Maher's sharp wit, and it sparked a lot of buzz online. Maher's takedown of Behar has been met with applause from those who felt she needed a reality check. So what did Behar say to get Maher so fired up? And how did he break down her arguments so well that now woke Twitter is in an uproar? We've got all the details and the best comebacks to make your snack break a lot more entertaining. Don't miss this episode.
She's probably been put in there because according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
I want to be clear, though, it's not her first job. It was her first press briefing. She worked in the previous Trump.
You've probably seen the clip already, so we'll keep it short. In essence, Behar throws a jab at Karoline Leavitt's intelligence, which is typical of how things go on The View *. Behar suggests that Leavitt only got the job as Trump's new press secretary because she's a size 10, as if dress size somehow determines qualifications. The irony here isn't lost on anyone. Behar, after all, has been sharing her own questionable opinions for years, without anyone questioning her credentials. Even when co-host Alyssa reminded Behar of Leavitt's actual qualifications, Behar ignored it. Of course, this got Bill Maher fired up, leading to his signature sharp response.
Yeah, but isn't it interesting that it's called, I don't think they meant this when Barbara Walters invented it a long time ago, but it's The View.
Well,
that's the problem in America.
But
there is one view,
right, and
one
that's clearly
true opinion, and everybody else can go sit in the corner.
You got to admire Bill Maher for his no-nonsense approach. He doesn't hold back. He points out that the problem with asterisk, The View asterisk, is right in the name. It's not really a place for different viewpoints. Instead, it pushes one opinion as the only valid one, dismissing any other perspective as irrelevant or even ridiculous. Joy Behar, as usual, leads the charge in shutting down any disagreement that doesn't fit the show's approved narrative. When Alyssa Farah Griffin tried to offer a different opinion on Karoline Leavitt's appointment as press secretary, Behar couldn't handle it. In Behar's world, any disagreement isn't just wrong.
Politics in this country is binary. You have to wear everything anyone on your side does. Republicans are the party of don't wear masks, kids in cages, lock her up, and Democrats are the party of every hypersensitive social justice warrior woke story in the news. They're the party that disappears people or tries to make them apologize for ridiculous things.
Bill Maher isn't just taking shots at Joy Behar. He's going after the entire Democratic Party, and honestly, he's making some valid points. If the Democrats had appointed Karoline Leavitt, Behar would likely be leading the charge, praising her as a brilliant, poised, and eloquent representative of America's future. But since Leavitt got the role under Trump, all that praise disappears, and Behar focuses instead on her dress size, as if that's the only thing that matters. It's the kind of shallow discussion we've come to expect from The View asterisk. Let's be real. If anyone else reduced a woman's accomplishments to her appearance, Behar would be up in arms, calling for an apology tour. Yet, when it comes to her own side doing the same, she stays quiet. Joy Behar's double standard hasn't gone unnoticed, and it's not just Bill Maher calling her out. Even Greg Gutfeld has chimed in on her performative behavior.
Is she really a 10? We'll
Don't
be right
do
back.
it.
No,
I noticed Jesse was a 7.
Joy Behar calls her a 10. I mean, how dare she objectify a woman with a biased rating system, but it's such a typical thing from a 1.5.
Gutfeld has a sharp take on the situation, and he's spot on. Joy Behar dismissed Caroline Leavitt's success by focusing only on her looks, as if suggesting a woman can't succeed based on merit unless she's a Democrat. If the roles were reversed and someone made a similar comment about a woman on the left, Behar would be the first to cry foul and demand a cancellation. What makes this even more interesting is how DEI advocates, who claim to value true ability over surface-level appearances, don't seem to care when their own side does exactly that. Meanwhile, Leavitt is handling press briefings at the White House with skill and professionalism. But Behar chooses to make petty remarks instead of acknowledging her competence. Maybe it's jealousy, as Gutfeld suggests. He even jokes that Behar is 1.5 light years away from a perfect score, which would explain why she took a jab at Leavitt in the first place.
Ever-empowering feminist Joy herself, everyone. And this is why, of course, she's on The View and not working for the most powerful man in the world, because Caroline would wipe the floor with you bitter banshees any day.
A reporter has just confirmed what we all suspected. Joy Behar is likely feeling jealous as Caroline Leavitt is out there working for one of the most powerful leaders in the world, while Behar is still on a daytime talk show shouting over her co-hosts. In Behar's eyes, Leavitt is just a rookie who hasn't earned her spot at the top, apparently because experience only matters when it fits her political views. But what Behar conveniently ignores is that success isn't about age. It's about intelligence, skill, and most importantly, competence. Leavitt clearly has all three, and that's what seems to really bother Behar. If Leavitt were a 25-year-old liberal, Behar would likely praise her as a role model for young women. But because Leavitt dares to think for herself, Behar reduces her to nothing but her appearance. Maybe Behar's just upset because her own resume wouldn't even land her a phone-answering job at the White House, let alone a role leading press briefings. And if you don't believe it, just listen to Behar herself. She's even called out people for simply not liking Vice President Kamala Harris' loud laughter. Yes, apparently, disliking her laugh is now considered a form of misogyny.
What really ticks me off about him, though, is this laughing Kamala remark. It's such a remark because a guy I was with over the weekend, a friend of mine, they said Kamala's laugh annoys me. Remember they said that about Hillary's laugh, that she was cackling. And men, they don't like a funny woman. We're afraid if you laugh or you make a joke, that maybe you'll do that when they're in bed with you. It's like this fear.
Well, don't be surprised by these views. Women like... Once again, Joy Behar is putting her lack of insight on full display, while Michael Knowles methodically dismantles her misguided points. Nearly 3 months have passed since Trump's election victory, yet Behar and the Democrats are still stuck in denial, like they're trapped in the early stages of grief with no progress in sight. Instead of facing the facts, they're clinging to conspiracy theories and wild claims, even going so far as to bring up Hillary's lost emails to try to discredit Trump's historic win. But every time they try to push their narrative, sharp minds like Bill Maher and Michael Knowles quickly expose their hypocrisy. You'd think after so many public missteps, they'd have learned something about self-awareness. But clearly, that's not a strong suit for The View *.
What now? So, if you don't like Kamala Harris's weird cackling, it's because you fear her in the boudoir? Huh? That's a theory there, Joy. I feel like, given her personal history, Willie Brown and all, that's probably not what people are thinking about Kamala Harris when they are thinking about that type of activity, but sure, go with that.
Finally, someone puts Joy in her place. It's honestly shocking that Behar even thought it was worth airing such nonsense. Let's see what these ladies have to say next.
This idea that Trump won with some kind of mandate is not true. I mean, we have information there. He beat Kamala Harris by 1.6%. Joe Biden beat Trump by 4.5%, and nobody said it was a mandate. So get that out of your lips, out of your mouth. These people were saying it's a mandate. It's not a mandate.
Megyn Kelly just delivered a brutal takedown of Joy Behar, and it's absolutely brilliant. According to Kelly, Behar got so worked up over news of Trump's conviction that she had an accident at a Costco. Yes, you read that right. The so-called intellectual giant of The View apparently lost control in the frozen food aisle. With her trademark sharp wit, Kelly didn't let this slip by, calling out Behar for once again showing that Trump isn't just living rent-free in her head. He's apparently there in other ways too. Let's be honest, If a conservative had admitted to something this embarrassing, Behar would be laughing about it on air for weeks. But when it happens to her, we're expected to treat it like some sort of bold act of resistance. Give us a break. Maybe next time, Behar should focus less on Trump and more on, well, adult diapers.
Joy Behar, once again, is very confused. The reason that Trump is said to have a mandate here is not because he won the election by 1.6%. He didn't win the election by 1.6%. He won the election in a landslide. He got 312 electoral votes.